Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your February 1st through 15th Solar session. I am Marlo, if you're new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friend, and whatnot, or whatever. So let's go ahead and jump into you guys' cards and see what's going on with you all. Okay, for the 1st and the 15th of February, so first card out, we have the Eight of Swords and the reverse, and that is coming out of January and into February. Next card out, we have the Sun card, and that is Leo energy. So what it's looking like, Gemini, is coming out of January and into February, you guys are in a good place, I would say. It would seem almost as if in the latter part of January that you guys, and that could have a lot to do with, Mercury retrograde and Mars having been retrograde, but you guys were seemingly in somewhat of a mental prison. And what I mean by that specifically is you guys may have felt that you were stuck in a situation, not really knowing how to get out of it, not really knowing how to shift things, not knowing how to shift things into your favor. But ironically, reason why I say like Mars retrograde or like Mercury retrograde that just had it where, it kind of like a divine timing thing where you really couldn't see clearly, because I'm not really seeing anything specifically that you guys did per se to get clarity. It's almost like one of those things where you have to just kind of wait it out. So if you think about it, there's like hella dense fog, right? It's like even if you have fog lights on your car, or you try to follow someone else out of the fog or what have you, it's like the only thing you can really do is wait until the fog subsides. You just got to wait till it clears up, because, there's no amount of anything, high beams, fog lights, nothing that's really going to help the situation. So you just have to wait for it to pass. And that's kind of like the vibe that I'm feeling for you guys. So I don't feel that it's anything that you did in particular, or that there was some type of, divine intervention, It's literally, because it's so interesting. It's like Neptune energy, which is interesting because I look at Neptune energy, it's like a foggy bog, it's like very high priestess kind of vibes, you know what I'm saying? Very Piscean in nature. But if you look at this Eight of Swords in the reverse and then the Sun card, that to me is like dead ass fog. It's like once upon a time, latter part of January, it could have been all of January. It's like things just were not clear. And suddenly it's like, bam, the sun comes out and they are. So I feel like in the first week of February, you guys have a sense of clarity at this point of the direction that you want to go into. And for those of you who don't, the advice that I would give you guys in reference to that is like more or less following your heart. I know that can sound hella corny, but it's more or less following your heart or what it is that you're passionate about. And if you don't know what that is, then, go get my core values quiz on my website or take the core values course, because that's how you know what your passions are and things of the sorts. First step to divine purpose. But anywho, moving right along. Next card that you guys have, ooh, I like it. We have the Four of Wands, and I really look at this as like a portal or a threshold. I feel like Gemini's now in this first week of February, it's like I love this reading. Come on, Gemini's. I'm here for all of this. I'm looking at the cards for next week. Anyway, moving right along. But yeah, with this Four of Wands, it's like you guys going through like a portal, but I feel, whoa, okay, my phone just vibrated. Anyway, but it's like you guys are going through like a proverbial portal or a threshold, if you will. And it's more or less going to a time where things are like more balanced and more clear. So it's like a more harmonious time. So all in all, what I would say up to this point, what it looks like for me, Geminis, is anything that you guys have been struggling with up until this particular point, it's been a divine timing thing. It has nothing to do with anything that you did wrong or right or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you were like kind of in that is not before the is type of deal, So once upon a time, things weren't making sense. Suddenly now they do. There is a sense of clarity, but if any way you don't know how to move forward, and I say that even more so with this Four of Wands being here, it's like you want to go in the direction of whatever brings your heart joy. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like not stiffing yourself, because you don't want to go in the direction of something where it's just material happiness, where it's like financial stability, or it looks really nice on the outside. But then, you don't want to just do something where it's like, oh yeah, this feels nice, but it's counterintuitive to the progress that I'm trying to make. It's like you're looking for something, and of course I'm saying this like generally and broadly, because this could be a myriad of things, whether this is like, you're thinking about a romantic partnership, like someone you want to be with, you're thinking about, a job or somewhere to move, whatever the case. So sorry to interrupt you guys while you're listening to the show, but I wanted to tell you guys about our new partnership with BetterHelp. If you haven't heard of them, it's an online resource in which you can find your very own friendly local neighborhood therapist, no matter where you are in the world. You sign up, and within 24 hours, they match you with a therapist that's right for you. And you can talk to your counselor every week via phone or video chat. You can also text them between sessions. If you or someone you know has been considering therapy, get started today with BetterHelp. Now let's get back to the show. It's the thing that you want to go in the direction of is something that's a true, authentic reflection of you and who you are, and something that is personally attuned with what it is that you're passionate about and that you value and that you desire. Now, going into the week of the 15th, our second week of February, first card out, we have the Hermit. That is, of course, Virgo energy. Then we have the Three of the Cuppies in the reverse. And then we have the Three of Wands. I'm digging it. So this is interesting. It's like, it's a solitary journey for Gemini going into the mid month of February. However, I don't necessarily see it solitary as you necessarily cutting people off or anything, but it's more or less, and this is me kind of getting into your business, okay? Because like, so as I tune into the Hermit, it's like my guides are like, meow, and I'm like, oh, so it's like stuff back there. Okay. So anywho, when we talk about a solitary journey, what I'm feeling leading up into this point, Gemini, and of course I'm talking to like a shit ton of y'all. So this could literally be, I mean, going back as far as 2022, or it could just be the month of January if we're just focusing on 2023. But I feel leading up into this present moment in our present consciousness, there's been a lot of people like speaking into your life, if I could put it that way. It's like, and it kind of reminds me of what I talked about with Leo, because I was talking with, so if you have that in your chart, definitely check it out. But I was saying with Leo, like when you lose sight of your end goal, like when you kind of stagnate in life because you got stuck in a pattern of doing something and you've kind of lost sight of what you were even doing it for, type of deal. It's similar to that energy, but I feel more or less like Gemini had like an end goal in sight, or it's something you were working towards, and it didn't manifest the way that you wanted it to, or something like that. And I guess the best example I could give of this, so I don't confuse you guys, is kind of like, you started a cupcake pop-up shop, right? And that's what you felt like was your thing. And you've done this for a couple of years, and eventually the business just wasn't doing well. And you thought, oh, it's because nobody knows who I am, or whatever. But you tried all of these things and it still didn't work. So you kind of got to a point of like doubting yourself, and like other people coming in and like speaking to that doubt type of deal. And then I feel like that became habitual. So it's like not really trusting your judgment or trusting what's best for you. It's because you did what was best for you and it didn't work out. So you start entertaining what people around you are saying is best for you, right? So I feel with the second week of February, this is more or less like Gemini's coming into a place to where you're taking your power back. So like when I was talking about with the Sun card and with the Four of Wands, it's like that's a transitional phase. Yes, things are clearer than they were, right? You don't feel limited. You don't necessarily feel stuck. You don't feel like, the future is bleak or anything. But a lot of you guys may not be sure what direction you want to go in, or like I was saying, like what it is you're passionate about, what it is that you value, which is why I'm selling my course. Take the course, buy the quiz. It's on my shop, on my website, whatever. Anyway, but you want to get clear on what it is that's important to you and not allow other people to influence that. So in the second week, I feel that there's like a step back, but it's more or less you guys self-reflecting, trying to figure out who you are, what you're about, what it is that you're truly desiring, to know what direction to go in. So the direction that you go in moving forward is coming from the within to the without, as opposed, from the without and trying to make that align to the within. And I feel like that's been the issue up until now. And I'm seeing that same energy with the Three of Cups as well, because a lot of times it's like, you know, when people have a vested interest in our happiness and our success, they don't necessarily mean ill towards us, but it's just that if there's some level of fear that's involved, like if a person feels that you're doing something, like a person who loves and cares about you feels that you're doing something that could be dangerous to your health or, you know, to your success or whatever, it's like they're gonna sometimes tell you things that aren't necessarily in your best interest, because the only person who knows what's best for you is you. So I feel like this week is you guys doing that and not really so much sharing that with people per se. So I feel it's kind of like, that's why I say solitary journey in the second week, but not necessarily that you're cutting people off. It's kind of like, I think Lil Wayne said this, real G's, you're a G because you're a Gemini. See what I did there? Real G's move in silence like lasagna. That would be funny if I named the reading that, but no one would probably click on it. But anyway, real G's move in silence like lasagna. Like literally, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting for the second week for you guys. Because with this Three of Wands, I feel it's you guys more or less leaving this conflict behind. And it's you going forward, like I said, with the Four of Wands, like in union with yourself, confident in the direction of what's very much in alignment with you, inspired by spirit, and in alignment with, you know, your soul, your values, and all of those good things. You know what I'm saying? So protect your ideas, Gemini, because I feel there's the potential of people potentially, and I said potential way too many times there, but I feel like there's the potential of people unknowingly discouraging you. And I feel that's the energy you guys came out of, and you don't want to, you know, repeat that. But at the bottom of you guys' deck, why all of this is happening, I love this. It's the Lovers, and that's a Gemini card, of course. All of this is happening to highlight everything it is I just described to you, so I won't bore you with repeating all of that again, but it's more or less a choice wasn't made up until this point, and the choice that wasn't made was the choice to choose both heart and mind, right? Because I feel the dichotomy of the Lovers card would be a perfect description of this, because it's more or less like you made a heart decision but didn't, and I'm saying this hypothetically, not saying this literally would happen, but like in the past, you made a heart decision and you didn't use your head, right? So you just like mindlessly, you know, followed your passions or your heart's desires or what have you. It didn't work out too well. So then you have someone who's coming in and they're bringing, you know, mind back to you, right? So you vacate your heart and now you're just going with mind. But because you're listening to someone else's mind, you ended up, you know, here. And the Eight of Swords, right? And it's like, this isn't making sense. This isn't going anywhere. Now I'm confused as hell. And the whole issue is with the Sun card in the first week, you realize the thing that you left behind was your heart space. So going through the threshold of the Four of Wands is all about that remarriage, you know what I'm saying, of your head and your heart. And of course, the best way to do this is your head being in service to your heart, right? So now it's like following your passion, but having a strategic action plan in order to achieve the thing that it is that you desire. And I feel with this Three of Wands, you guys are going to be doing just that coming up into the 15th of the month. So Gemini, that has been your soul session for the 1st through the 15th of the month. If you want to see the latter part of the month, it is going to be available on our Sanctuary, which is my network, Patreon, YouTube, members, Vimeo, all the places that all the things are. If you want to see the other half of this, and those are posted on the 15th. But until then, my sweet, precious Gemini, I will see you guys sooner than later. And I love your freaking face, dag nabbit son of a gun. You know what I'm saying? Love your face.